Panda, any player that you are looking for? Oh, there it goes.
The easy answer could be any of the two Spanish players, but I'm actually going to say Noerum. I think he's a player that has been, for better or for worse, inconsistent. He's gotten either 7th and 8th or just 1st and 2nds. Yesterday, of course, started off with 3 first places in a row to start the tournament off. He's now in a position where he needs to get, a lot of points to make it into this day 3, to make it to day 3 tomorrow. And this is the case where he can get, he can pop off, he can get 1st and 2nd like he has already in the past. He's gotten maybe one of the players with the most first places throughout this entire tournament, despite kind of being in this cutoff area. And it has a chance to pop off in these last 2 games when the pressure is at its highest and make it to day 3.
Also, while we have the chance, I want to highlight something here. I filled in for 3 scrims, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I did not go 8th once. I did not top 4 once. That's a different story, but I did not go 8th. I just want to get that out there, okay? I just want to get that out there. I just want to get that out.
We are proud of you.
Thank you very much. Hopefully Twitch chat will like me more than, trying to I'm trying to build up my ethos here, okay? Trying to manifest my ethos. I don't know if it's working, but we're trying at least, right? Again, like these items set up here from Noerum is kind of standard. Okay, gets a Nunu. Duelist Dexterity is not really one you want to aim to play Mirage in. It's not one that makes you want to go, damn, I really need to play Odesza here. So that option is kind of off the table. Even though you get that early Nunu, it could be just a nice economic boost more so than anything else here.
Yeah, exactly. So on an angle where it could be possible to go for Mirage, we are seeing it in the top right corner with the Duelist. So could be happening. Has a Nunu, has for now also Lisa in 3 cost that doesn't do too shabby in the early stages. Also finds a Tristana here as we go into our first augment. It's going to be silver augment, so something I'm sure, Panda, you are very, very happy about because they're usually not that impactful.
Yep, low variance is usually a good thing, of course. This is the make or break moment for some of these players to try and make it to day 3. Tiaan already with Tristana 2 to start things off. Going to be a great start for him if he goes that Cannoneer route, and especially for that Nomsy. You're talking about it, Odesza. These Cannoneer players really only want to go Cannoneer if they're able to get a good Nomsy start early on, and especially the 2 stars early on for Tristana, for Heimerdinger. So Tiaan in a very good position to go that route.
Yeah, the hardest news in the game.
What a board.
Yeah, he picked up the Cannoneer heart. He has a silver augment, right? This is one of the few spots where it can be transformative, right? When you pick up that early Tristana pen, you can get the 2-star Tristana. We kind of have this running joke in the practice group where it's like Heimerdinger 2 and Lulu are the hardest units hit in the game. And, well, Tiaan is kind of on his way there, right? Has the Heimerdinger 1 at least, and that's Tristana 2. So kind of the same concept. We'll be getting those noms stack rolling very soon.
We love big frogs, right? Nomsy will be a dragon for the next set, but not now, not just yet. Still, a unit, if you can call them that. That is very, very popular for the players. Always good to have if you can buff it up.
Wow, Tiaan is popping off. I was about to say, he has his damage covered. He has a Senate 2, he has a Senate 2. All he was missing was a bit more frontline, and all of a sudden, Taric 2 is online. Sunfire Cape slammed as well. Is there any world, Odesza, where this is not a 5-win streak?
That could be, right? We haven't seen the surrounding boards, right? You look at a player like TapLast here, who has something like, you're looking at that, you're looking at the Frill the Hunt. Frill the Hunt procs content to do some kind of funky things, right? Again, it's 3 Cannoneers, 2 things to that. I have a very hard time seeing it not being a 5-win streak, but again, it's worth noting that Tiaan's board has kind of already peaked to the point where it can peak at this stage of the game. We could be coming out of the carousel. People who get their best and start items. We kind of see like the lack of front line is going to be the big kicker here as well. Didn't really get to touch on it because Taric 2 without Guardian is also going to be an issue when you have double piece items here from Odesza, right? Like the pickup here of the Pandora's items here really helps manifest that. And well, there is no extra shielding here from the Taric now. We're also not going to be seeing a cheeky level 5. TapLast picks up a Yone 2 there, I believe, as well. So some pretty strong boards developing all around the game right now.
The caster curse comes through. I am sorry, Tiaan. I will not say anything about your board for the rest of this game.
Oh my goodness. Why are you doing this to our players, Panda? I thought we've been over this. shake my hat. We are going into the last PvP round here before the first carousel rolls around. We will see Odesza and Zbrojson meet here in the early stages. I'm really curious if Zbrojson is holding on to the playstyle that he has shown throughout the tournament so far. He did manage to get a first place in game number 3 and then went bottom 4 in game number 4 again. So maybe a little bit of a turn in playstyle.
Maybe we don't quite really know, right? We could be looking at at Crux, and he's like somehow managed to lose 40 HP for no reason, right? So you never quite know. Also, it's pretty interesting to see like we're seeing some more of these like Guardian Prios during stage 2. That's something that has really started to impress me, right? It's just the prevalence of these Guardian openers when they are available, especially paired with something like a Yone. It is going to be providing a ton of utility in the early game.
You're talking about Lulu being hard to hit. On the carousel there with the belt, could be a Zeke's, but Gluteus is the one to pick it up. So Tiaan was maybe hoping to get that Trainer 3 online early on. Not going to be a possibility at this point.
Yeah, items are being picked up. You can see the components, well, not anymore, on the left side of the screen, powered by Blitz.gg. And as we speak about it, I do want to mention something that is very dear and important to all of us here over at Rising Legends, and it is our planet Earth. !TFT Forest to check out the action that we have going on together with Grow My Tree at the moment. We are trying to plant 1,000 trees, so if you want to assist in that, if you want to polish up your karma, then head on over there, buy a tree, plant a tree, do something good. We would love that. You get a discount for the first offer, so for the first purchase, so that would be really cool.
Something that's also really cool. Yone too. It's just so the funny thing about Duelist, right, is that it's not something you want to aim towards the late game to play into, but in these early stages of the game, it is so potent at dealing damage here. Again, the double hook here coming through from the Fresh is going to be a little bit of a hindrance. I think that is tight here. Frill diff? This is the biggest frill diff of his life, actually.
Surely not. Surely
Insane
not.
frill diff. It's a frill diff. You're talking about, okay, there's no way Tiaan doesn't, 5-streak, right? Like, even if he hadn't lost the fight here, this was the exact situation I was talking about, right? They were like, again, could end up getting frill diff to the board with a Yone 2 or something like that, and eventually that was what happened here. So TapLast is in a pretty good spot, and also he does need a really strong performance here to be in with a chance of making the day free.
An Olaf and a Swain for TapLast in the store. Both of them are very interesting. With the Swain and the King, you could actually go for a Rage Wing angle. With the Olaf, of course, you can go for that Scale Score and you can get that Bruiser in with a Diana that is already on the board. So this could definitely be a Scale Score angle here for TapLast, a comp that we have seen do really, really well throughout today and yesterday.
We see the Jade angle for Skarambez. Has already the Nivea early on. No item slam just yet, but gonna hope to find, of course, that Chill U as early as possible. Normally at that 3-5 roll down, if is gonna be the case for him at level 7. And the Nico, of course, so important. But for now, still looking fairly healthy. On the side of Odesza, on the side of Skarambez, not so much. So 70 HP for him. Zbrojson, for maybe the first time ever seeing him on the stream game, isn't 8th at the end of this stage 2.
Yes, like I said, maybe he turned it around. Hopefully he did. As we go into the Krugs, players are making sure that they have at least level 5. We could just see Skarambez leveling up here. Down there, also, Sappho does have 2 upgrades in the store. We'll buy them here last second to have the chance of still redo them depending on what drops from these Krugs. But it is going to be the Alawi upgrade if he wants it or not.
It's also just because of the fact he's playing preparation, right? So you need to guarantee to get the preparation stacks through. Getting the additional upgrade here is just a bonus. The issue is that he's currently angling for a Varus setup, but he's playing without bows. However, BT available on the bench. Siphon currently available in the shop. Depending on how he wants to play this out here, he could keep the Siphon on the bench for a while, just get those stacks rolling by also just keeping the Alawi on the bench, guaranteeing the loss streak. there are many ways here for Safo to play this out. He's probably hoping to see something like a component grab bag with a couple of bows coming up next year as his augment, just to kind of start having the ability to like play this game to a certain extent.
Talking about Varus, if I'm not mistaken, we haven't really seen it pop off and do well today in any of the streamed matches. Yesterday, a few players did end up going to the Varus route and did find success. So maybe this was a chance for Safo to bring this comp into the spotlight and do well with it. Again, very strong start. Prep is going to work really, really well with Varus, essentially giving him that extra AD because he needs as much damage as possible. And that early siphon is also going to be a deal breaker for Safo.
Also, we did see Salvi off stream in round number 2, I believe, take a second place with Varus. So it has done well today already. It's one of those compositions where you're looking at it and it's like, we talked about this because like we discussed this enigma that is kind of Varus, right? Like before we started today, where now this becomes an issue, right? Because
level up. Odesza saw what happened in the last game. He's like, "Yep, I'm gonna try and emulate that."
Yeah, but then again, like this is a very good setup. He has all the items here. He hits the level 5 Shio just to pair with it, so he doesn't have to worry about scaling in. And it's going to be an issue for Safo depending on which augment you end up getting, actually, because... Okay, is it Think Fast? Oh, it's not. Okay, I was like, because like I just saw the upgrades coming through, but Swift Shot, this is big for multiple reasons, right? First of all, you get to fit in Swift Shot without really having to think about it, but you also get that Rage Blade, and we're talking about how he's been lacking these bows. This means that if he really wants to, he can commit a Bloodthirster to this Siphon to really try to stabilize that way. Again, Brunan's Hurricane is also one of the most important items for Varus, period, so you might want to hold the cloak open for that, but you kind of have to make a decision now because the lobby tempo is about to go up a notch.
Guido, you were discounting the Spanish players coming into this game 5, saying they had an unrealistic chance of making it, but right now they are both in really, really good positions to have a fantastic result in this game 5. Maybe a second, maybe a first. They can do the same thing in game 6. Maybe they can actually perform a miraculous comeback. Too much copium?
We'll see about that. We still have to check in with a lot of the other players and see what their prismatic is and how their comp is looking. So while I will say they look in a very good position right now, it all depends on the general lobby tempo that Guido was referring to. And those prismatics, they always turn everything upside down, right? They just spiral up the tempo of a lobby with so much force that you really need to look after all of your chickens, make sure everything's good, and you can keep up with the rest.
Another thing that's worth noting here, right, is the fact that Safo actually, because he picked up the Varus so early on while he had the prep onto 1, he doesn't have to like try to move the Varus back, or doesn't have to take account for the fact he needs to hold the Varus on the bench. He's going to cut these continuous preparation stacks. So he is actually in that situation. When you look at in that like a systematic way, he's not in a bad position. It's just the fact that he is currently only 1 item. Varus' bench just doesn't really provide him great options for Varus items either. So he really needs to, fully stabilize here. If he gets a win in this round, he's going to be able to make 20. It's going to be a massive catalyst for his game so far.
And going to have Carousel priority. Currently at the bottom end of the HP total, so going to have a chance to maybe try and snipe a few bows and swords and AD items in general to allow to build best in slot items for this Varus. If it will be the main damage carry, if it will be that 3-star Varus angle for the late game.
Yeah, definitely. And we will go into the next carousel in just a little bit. You mentioned it before, Panda. I'm a little bit upset. Zbrojson is down there once again. 3-3, 50 HP.
This is the only place he feels comfortable.
I'm a little bit worried. I think he might feel a little bit too comfortable here. Big pickup for Safo, though. Finds the bow on the Corki as first picks Zbrojson, going with the Chain Mist on the Ornn here. Big gold income, of course. Not sure if Zbrojson has rolled down yet. If he does, we will definitely try and catch that for you guys. But yeah, to my understanding, he's maybe a little bit too comfortable on that low HP today.
I could be wrong, but I do believe that picking up the Forecaster allows Safo to make 30.
Might be the case, and also, I mean, the bow. So just perfect outcome there from that carousel for Safo. Zbrojson, though, I think his strategy is to get more airtime on stream. He knows that if he's going to be 8th every time, he's going to have this camera on the 3-5 every single game he's playing. So this is a big brain strategy from Zbrojson to try and get as many viewers as possible to watch his peak roll downs on level 7. And it's the case here as well. Odesza has been found. 5 Shimmer Scale is online. Volibear as well. Where do you think this comp goes? Going to stage 4 and stage 5, Wida?
It's going to depend on the situation here, right? The setup is interesting. The gem is not something that you are going to be looking for, but it could be a nice little gold generator here.
Yep, it's usually very nice to get that econ up, something that might be necessary, just judging by what is going on, and at least it's a comp that does stand a fighting chance. Generally not going to be enough against gluteus as he comes in here and takes a big win against Zbrojson. But on that 7 loss streak, Zbrojson definitely needs to find that stability, needs to find something that gives him a hold where he can also win something.
Hitting the Dragonman's down to the bear here is going to give him a little bit extra damage here, right? Like, it's a Volibear 1. Volibear 2 can stabilize. We've seen this before in plenty of times, but it's not really going to be the case here. Right now, the big kicker is actually just going to be the Aatrox. Something we also have seen Zbrojson do before is actually go for vertical Shimmer Scale. It requires augment support that he currently does not have, but it could be what is going to kind of help him get over the road here, right? Like, if he gets a good augment last, and he might be able to pick up a spatula from the wolves or something like that. Like, there's a couple of options, a couple of ways this game could go from here.
Facing off against one of the stronger players in the lobby. That being said, Chio, you has been stuck on Odesza the entirety of this fight. Now finally redirects your attention to this Volibear. The battle of the big boys and girls is coming to a climatic end there. Shiryu ends up winning it out. And Swain just tickling the Shiryu, but now finally the damage comes rolling in, and Anivia and Olaf, I think, won't quite be able to do it by themselves. Odesza finally takes a hit, and Zbrojson, like clockwork, stabilizes at the end of stage 3 and hopefully can do the same throughout the rest of stage 4.
It's so funny. Also with the Swain again. Sorry, Rita, but he played that Swain yesterday and he got a first place with a Swain reroll. Of course, he was also locked into it by the Inspire yesterday, but it's just such a Zbrojson thing to do.
It is, right, but again, it's almost a situation where Zbrojson would almost prefer to take a 1-unit loss there just to maintain that that lose streak gold, because while it's not like he's poor or anything like that, it's not like he's in a fantastic financial position either. I mean, he's a 50 gold. Like, it's not like he's struggling or anything like that, but getting that extra little bit of gold here could be what would be the facilitator for him to get that extra little bit of economy he needs to make that final transition here. And Zbrojson is taking no prisoners right now. He's not going to be rolling here. He's just going to say, you know what, I am just going to chill out and let it slide. And we can see another interesting things here in the lobby. Safo has been win streaking on that various Tejas hits 2 separate Nuno 2s, I believe, as well. So they should 2 as well. So this is a massive spike now with the rest of the lobby kind of coming up to pace, and Zbrojson is just saying, you know what, I'm just going to sit back and relax.
Yeah, we also see TapLast here, who seems to be on a Jade angle with a Zona slotted in currently. Always nice to have that little support coming in from the crescendo when your Shiryu is trying to do damage, but it won't be enough against Safo's board, who with that swift shot siphon is just sniping enemies from afar, it seems like.
He definitely is. And okay, Big Friend. I love Big Friend. I think it's one of the most underrated augments in the game. Like, it is so good in some of these compositions.
With this comp, you don't really have to grieve your positioning too much because you're going to have so many high HP units with 3 stars in general. Siphon, of course, as well. Ilawi already hitting that cap, I imagine, as well. One thing to mention, we talked about the in some ways, inconsistency of Noerum in terms of his placements. Right now, this game is looking like it's one of those 8th or 7th or 6th games. Had a bad start once again. Has to try and stabilize. We saw it all throughout today. He's gotten first place, but he's also gotten 8ths and 7ths. And hoping he's going to be able to turn things around throughout the rest of this stage 4. Like Zbrojson, stabilize. He tried to do it before. We saw game 1 with the Ao Shin. Didn't quite work out. We'll see if this game is going to be any different.
Zbrojson notably rolled a lot of his gold into his experience, is leveled up to level 8 here, which should give him a little bit of a head start over the players that are still on 7. I would like to check in with Noerum after this game and see how he's doing, because he's currently on 32 HP, and he was one of the players that did extremely well throughout yesterday and hasn't really found luck in day 2 of this competition yet.
It's worth noting here, right? He did pick up the Shimmer Scale Hearts. I was talking about this vertical Shimmer. I mean, at least going to be locking him into 7 Shimmer, because unless he can find a Shimmer Scale Spatula out of nowhere, pretty much, he's not going to be able to reach that 9 Shimmer. That could be a Spatula open on the carousel. You never know what's going to be coming up here, but that is an angle we need to look out for, because if you do land that Crown of Champions, this comp is about to be taken to an entirely new level.
There is 3.
There is 3 for Sappho. Very, very nice to see that come out. Round 4-3, good point to find that. Of course, would still like some additional items on that, but for now should be good enough. I really want to see Noerum though, so we will be checking in with him after the carousel and see how he's doing. Hopefully he can stabilize from then. And we are meeting Skarambez here on the other side of the board, who's also on a Jade comp. Jade just generally doing super well, a very popular pick. I think a third of the game's players have gone with some variation of Xiaoyu, so definitely a comp that is not too bad right now, but also means that it's usually also competed, and you really need to look out and find those Nikos, find that Xiaoyu too.
This would be a massive win for Sappho, would be able to buy this side without having to lock the shop. It's an extra natural roll, and that will be the case. Perfect pickup, and now just 1 away from that Siphon 2 and Ornn 2, and now already with the Varus 3 has a chance to go level 8 and start econing up once again. So a very good spot for Sappho overall in this game 5.
We are seeing the carousel right now. Players are picking things up. We can see Sappho is heading straight for that BF sword as it comes in. Bo was already gone, of course, would have liked that for sure. And Tiaan, last of the pack, is going to go with the cloak here. You can see their components on the left side once again, see what they will try to make with that. But here is Noerum, 25 HP.
Oh no, it's Ocean again.
That Ocean won. Yeah, it's a thing.
But also it's Cavalier Unity, right? So it's going to be a pretty tanky board overall. It is lacking the things. I want to highlight something here, and I kind of do enjoy this. I kind of respect this, right? He is not investing all of his gold into like panic of going to level 8, for example. We might see that on the next turn, but if he goes to level 8 right now, he's not going to have the money to, first of all, do any significant upgrades when you look at the shop. But he's not guaranteed to like spike the Aoshin 2, which is what he needs right now. So the longer he can hold off on this level, the more he's going to be able to like spike further into this game.
Pretty sick roll on Lee Sin as well for the Thief Gloves. Rabadon and Blue Buff. The kicks going to be doing a whole lot of damage.
That Ocean
will it be enough?
Oh, the stun is so big.
You went too deep.
Here he goes, lightning range crashing down, and Noerum finds a win. Doesn't look too impressed with that Ocean cast, but we definitely are.
This is a confident Aoshin, walks up to the middle of the board, paddles Xiaoyu 1v1, and kills it with the very last drop from the sky.
He's still not investing his gold though. Let's see when he does that. I kind of want to stay here. Notably, Odesza and Zbrojson have also dropped a little bit in HP, so all of these players will try to scramble, try to find something from that treasure dragon to get a grip in their comps, get stability, and find an angle in this competition.
It's also worth noting when you look at his matchup pool over to the right side here. He's going against Sappho, who we know is incredibly strong right now. We know Skarambez has also been doing quite well all throughout the game. Tiaan obviously top of the lobby. So he's not going to gain anything significantly from leveling here. It's not going to change the matchups. It might be a difference between like 2 or 3 HP or something like that, but it is not going to be a huge deciding factor. So again, as we're talking about here, he's just assessing the lobby strength as of right now. He's just doing his utmost to ensure that he's going to be in a very strong position in general.
And Tiaan, if you're wondering why he has so much HP, why he's doing so well, Prismatic Augment is Stand United. He's playing Cannoneers. This is almost one of the best synergies between an Augment and a comp in the entirety of this game. It's almost, I'm not going to say an insta-win, but definitely a guaranteed top 4 if you're able to hit that Corki, hit that Bard later on as well, and have all those extra stats to every single one of your units.
Yeah, and Treasure Dragon is gonna come in. Let's see what he gives these players. Noerum was holding on to that goal to make a decision after his Treasure Drake and have something to work with here. We can see him re-roll a couple of times before he finds something that he likes. Sappho finding that Tactician's Crown, though.
He is lacking an item for the Varus, right? I think that is the big deciding factor right now. This would allow him to slot in the mage. Let's say there is something like a 1% Zoe in the shop behind the door. There is not. But it is going to allow him to start looking in towards a level 9 or just like any mage here will do.
I just love how Sappho was running around that Treasure Dragon, making sure we are catching him find this Tactician's Crown before he picked it up. It's just flexing. But my favorite tool, the economy, is coming in as upgrades are being hit for Sappho. You can see the overall standings of level. Currently, Odesza on level 9, 2 players on level 7, and the rest of the lobby is on level 8. And it seems like, except for Zbrojson, nobody's in luck with the coins. They all have spent a significant amount of their economy.
I think Tiaan is chilling right now. Odesza is also big chilling here. Level 9 BT on that.
Level up, we were talking about it.
Right, like, again, he has cybernetic uplink alongside it as well. Like, he is in such a good position. He even has the Pandora's items here, so he can just reroll this Chainless on the bench into hopefully a rod for him. At the end of the day, even like a tier would also be okay. Wouldn't be best in slot or anything like that. But his position right now, it could be so good here as well. Like, he's at 25 HP, so he does need a little bit of work, right? But, the BT!
Ooh, so close.
And that's the difference between having that third item, right, that he's currently waiting for right now. So if he gets this specific role, it's going to be so big.
That was really crazy, though. TapLast was level 7, Odesza was level
Zoe 2
9.
is big.
We can see the Zoe 2 being found here. Odesza Sport just knows no limits. Nico is being remade here as he is looking for further upgrades, for things to find on this board here. We'll slot in the Soraka to give him a little bit of extra sustain, but Zbrojson and Noerum are also down on those 16 and 12 HP. We can see Zbrojson finally sin, but will that be enough to stop him from losing here? He needs to slam the items that he has on the bench right now.
Not quite this power track you're hoping for. At stage 5, it's not really going to be that big of a difference maker. We'll see. Again, another Aoshin player. Noerum must be hating every single one of these players that are going for Aoshin again. When once again he tries going Aoshin, everyone starts contesting him.
It's just Aoshin is a very popular guy, and yeah, it is a battle of Aoshins. One is a lot stronger here, though. Aoshin 2 from Odesza coming in against that Aoshin 1 from Zbrojson, and Zbrojson is now down on 3 HP. He needs to find something. He doesn't have any goal to work with. If he loses one more round, he will be out of the tournament. We are checking in with Gluteus here for a second, who is on that Mirage. You are seeing the duelist dexterity coming in the top right corner, has also found a pike.
And Skarambez sneakily becomes the HP leader, win streaking 57 HP right now. Looks like to be in a very, very good spot to have a top 4 performance. Odesza, who we thought was looking very strong with level up, is all of a sudden down to 18 HP. A very close lobby at the bottom end here.
It is, and again, the Zbrojson is kind of one that doesn't really have any impact on the final standings just due to how his day has gone so far. So probably the player that the least people would see go 8th here, right? Because you need the other people in the lobby here to score less than Zbrojson, just in case, just to kind of balance everything out here.
He's still going to try, and trying he is. That Aoshin has ramped up a little bit on the Archangel, will fire once more. Maybe, just maybe, he can take out that Xiaoyu here. He cannot. That will be the end of him. -8 HP as he goes out 8th. In round number 5. You said it, Rita. His overall standings haven't looked too great. I think after this game, he doesn't have a chance to qualify anymore at all.
Well,
so yeah, that was Zbrojson.
I got excited, and then my brain's like, no, never mind.
You can just do your Homer Simpson slide back into the bush. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Since bad open here, we have a skills on 3. We have a skills on 3 lobby, no? Unless I'm tripping her. So 2 emblems being left open here. I think that is, that kind of makes sense at this point in time. None of them are really transformative enough for any of these either of these compositions. Gunblade not ideal final item for Varus, but as a stopgap when you have the remover, it is definitely something that you could work with. Again, if we're looking at the augment here again, right, we're talking about like the augment casino of Varus. Preparation, fantastic augment. We already talked about the impact earlier on in the day. Celestial Blessing, Swift Crown, absolutely insane. And Odesza here, we're mentioning the level up here. The level 10 is not really that likely at this point in time. I think that is safe to say.
Odesza is meeting with Tiaan here. Tiaan is only on level 8, but we talked about it before. Has that support by the prismatic augment, just so good with cannoneers, and it will be all about that Ao-Shin, and can he annihilate the board before tragedy happens? If Odesza loses this round, he is out of this tournament as well, and it doesn't look good. The Siphon is still fully alive, entire health bar available. Now the Ao-Shin has been hit by the Whispers, and there's nothing like an Archangel scaling up here on that Ao-Shin, and Odesza will find the 7th place.
Exactly, lethal as well here.
Oh, no.
And if you take a look at the setup here that we saw from Tiaan, right? We're talking about the Declaw on the Siphon. We're looking at a 4-star Nomsy as well. So there's just so much HP to work through. And that it, quite frankly, is pretty much close to impossible here. And speaking of that person here that has to do something impossible, TapLast, this board is not necessarily weak, but it's not necessarily fantastically strong either. This is kind of like what can happen when you are playing Jade comps. They do kind of just, middle out to this specific setup here, and Noerum has the better of the positioning setups right now, granted that the Sona doesn't permalock this permalock Odesza.
The Zephyr, just so good for TapLast, taking out that Yasuo for a hot second before it can use all of the CC. You can see Noerum just watching as this game plays out. The Odesza is still alive, but so is the Xiaoyu, and she will be untouched by that ult. It's not enough, however. TapLast being eliminated here, following Odesza and Zbrojson, going out 6th.
And I love the character development for Noerum. Was on Ao-Shin, scouted around, saw again players recognizing him like game 1. He learned his lesson, switched to Odesza instead, and now is win streaking. He was 8th place, had to stabilize, and now might actually get a 4th, a top 4, hopefully maybe even a top 2 or a top 3. He was one of the, I think he was 9th in the standings coming into this game, so definitely one of the players who was better positioned to actually try and make it into day 3.
Seeing the economy come in once more, Sappho still on a level 7, not an awful lot of gold to work with. Same as Noerum, you just talked about him. The rest of the lobby seems to still have some capital to work with, some real estate to invest into these boards and maybe take them somewhere. But Sappho always needs to keep in mind that he has that preparation and would like to make some use of it. Does go to slam these items here, redoes some of his units as he slots in the Rise, still looking to find an upgrade, rolls down here for a little bit, trying to hit those astral shops, but it's not really working out the way he was hoping to from what I can tell.
Not many more upgrades to hit really at this point. When level 8 has Legend of Crown, so essentially he's level 9, has the Siphon 2, has a Varus 3, has really all the key afternoon to 3-star already. So this is really his board. Just gonna have to worry about positioning, hoping that this Siphon can kill some important carries as soon as the fight starts off. And this Xiaoyu is dangerously close to that Varus. Very unfortunate positioning him. And I think Varus is gonna get killed off much earlier than Sappho would have hoped for. And this might just be a massive loss here for Sappho.
We are looking at Tiaan versus Gluteus, and it might be the end here as he also gets eliminated. We do have our top 4 in round number 5 locked in now. It will be Skarambez, Tiaan, Sappho, and Noerum. Sappho and Skarambez still fighting out who can lead here, and that leaves us with very, very close HP standings, 34 to 16. These rounds will be over super quickly.
Big upgrade here as well coming through. Talon is one of those units that can really help you elevate these boards. And he's also a pretty decent holder of a Thieves Glove, so you're not necessarily losing out on a lot of quality. And again, the additional level of AD is going to help this Xiaoyu scale out quite nicely. It's also kind of wild to me that Skarambez is kind of taking the HP lead, and then it's like kind of been like, I am on a Xiaoyu 1, I'm gonna go fast 9, right? Like, normally you would like try to roll down, hit the Xiaoyu 2, but he's found the correct assessment that he's able to go for this level 9 and then try to find the Xiaoyu 2 afterwards.
If this round doesn't go tragically, both of these players should survive here. It is Sappho and Noerum who are meeting both on 18 and 16 HP here, and I think they can get away with it here. Noerum, whoa, he does die! He looks as confused about that as I do. -2 HP, gets knocked out here in 4th place.
Oh, this is a big one as well here. Generally speaking, Xiaoyu has the better of Siphon in these type 1-1 situations. You kind of saw why, especially with the Edge of Darkness there. It's the Edge of Daybreak or the Edge of Night? I can't remember. I mean, the Radiant Age of Night. Let's just leave it at that. The double aggro drop is so big when there's another unit left on the board, because that Siphon is going to be so distracting, just going to buy so much more time for the Xiaoyu to bring out those continuous knockups. And well, I was talking about how he had to go level 9, and it just goes level 9 with relatively small amounts of gold and finds that Xiaoyu 2 now. So Skarambez, you can start picking at the small few couple of upgrades here to really start elevating his board, but for now he should be more than stable enough to win out here.
We'll see what this Zephyr hits as well. Oh my god, it's gonna hit the Siphon. Perfect positioning from the Gnar. And this Siphon really is going to be the make or break moment here. Varus by itself, I think, is not going to be able to carry most of the damage in this fight. Xiaoyu not quite onto the Varus just yet, as he was a few fights ago. Will it be enough here for Sappho to stay alive and end up winning this fight and really equaling the HP totals coming into the end of this stage 6?
Sappho is really trying anyway. The Talon, you said it before, he is in that backline trying to take out the carries. Now on to the Siphon. Siphon will charge once more, but it's not enough. It is all about that Varus, but he has stacked up on those Rage Blade stats. It's not enough, though. It is not enough as he gets knocked down to 6 HP. It is so close between those two.
Cavalier spot here could be interesting for some of the players that do believe still, right? Tiaan seems to be a little bit in two minds here about what he exactly wants to pick up. And again, he is kind of in a position where his trades are all just kind of out there. He managed to find that Pike, so that could be looking in towards the Pike 2 angle. It could just be a Spear of Shojin for the Sona as well. The Sona is one of those things where you can, again, this composition really revels in the buying of time. And well, Sona 2 does buy time, and again, she did get a little bit of a buff to her damage before she's going to get sent away forever, at least for the duration of 7.5. But again, you look at this board, right? Like, it is so good. He's been doing a position in the front line here where he's spreading them out so that the Siphon will not potentially travel to the back line. But again, changes up a little bit again, because the fact there's also going to be that switch account. Oh, the Xiaoyu angle here is insane, actually. Okay, no, line doesn't go all the way to the back line.
So we are seeing Tiaan and Skarambez meet up here. Of course, we don't know which ghost copy Sappho is fighting, but it could be the end. We have seen players lose to ghost copies before. Of course, it does show a trend for them. How's it going? It's going okay. All right, Sappho does stay in for another round, and Tiaan and Skarambez fight out. Who is currently leading? Looks like Tiaan.
Technically, Skarambez is still leading by 1 HP, but Tiaan did win the fight. I guess they split it down the middle? Does that work for you, Max?
That does work for me.
Well, much to the line of Panda, right? Like, the Sappho right now seems to be the strongest player in the lobby.
I'm not speaking because I am just crossing my fingers, doing any kind of voodoo magic to make sure Sappho gets his first place. He needs it. He needs the first place to stay alive, to have contention to make it to day 3 with a good placement in game 6. So Sappho, I'm giving you all my energy. My biases are fully on display here.
As long as you don't hire Paul Park as Witch Doctor, I think you're fine, baby.
Let's see how it goes. All eyes on the Siphon on the right side and whether or not he can get into that backline before the crescendo comes in and locks him in place. The Rice in the backline being now eaten up by Tiaan's Siphon on the other side. Can that Varus scale up and take out the rest of the team that Tiaan has built? And it looks like he can. Sappho stays in one more time, and they are now both down to single digits. Ghost copy also winning against Skarambez. What?
got
We
the
saw
X factor.
3-2-1. Now we're seeing a 6-6-4. We're being spoiled with these finishes. Game 5 again going to be a nail biter.
It definitely is, right? Again, Soraka 2 here could be the big X factor as well for Skarambez. Together with that Zephyr as well, that's going to be the big thing to look out for right now. Because the additional free HP from the Soraka could be that little, small, tiny change up when it comes to the outcome here.
Especially that Skarambez is facing off against Siphon player no matter what, which means that if he's able to get the Siphon up in the air with that Zephyr, that is huge.
Sappho finds the Runans that he so desperately wanted on the Varus. Insta slam. The cards are all aligning for him to take this home. He was down on 6 HP for what seemed like forever and is now finding an angle back into this game.
What is he looking for? Upgraded board, I guess, is the big one. It's not going to be able to find that, it seems, for now at least. So it's going to get them more prep board onto the board. He's going to be finding Skarambez. That is an absolute...
Has to watch out with the Zephyr, both on the Varus and on the Siphon as well.
Yeah, last second swap with the Nami. Will it be enough against the Zephyr? I think it will be. Alawi getting lifted into the air. And once again, our eyes are stacked onto that Varus in the bottom right corner as he's ramping up. The Siphon in the front line trying to buy him time, trying to take out the threat that his talent succeeds in that. But the Xiaoyu is still there and she's still throwing hands, but hopefully not for long. The Varus is ramping up, does get shortly CC'd by an enemy Bard. So much healing onto that Xiaoyu, but I don't think Skarambez stands a chance here as this Varus is just on a rampage.
The challenger level Siphon was about to get killed by Xiaoyu, runs away, stays alive, kills 3 or 4 more units. Incredible AI display there from the Siphon.
It's just like, maybe, it's a good little lobby thing here as well. So now it is pure positioning. There are no external factors. There is no Zephyr. There's no Shrouds. No nothing they need to consider right now. The biggest positioning thing right now is trying to get away from the Siphon, ensuring that the Sona is going to be in the right spot. These are the biggest kickers as of right now here.
Yeah, it could come all down for Sappho. Tiaan still fighting, still throwing hands. The crescendo comes in from the Zona, but the Siphon on the right side is onto her, smacking her up. The Varus on the side of Sappho now also being targeted, does survive the first chomp, but the Siphon does not stop. It's still on him, takes out the Varus. It is all about the Siphons and whether or not they can take this home. It doesn't look too good for Sappho here.
The rage plate though.
Here's one more choice.
Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me.
He can do it. I don't think he
No!
can.
Oh my goodness. Let's go, Sappho. What a win. I'm telling you, this Siphon was something else. These last 2 fights, I have never seen anything like this.
I am so